Hi, this is John Allen, the editor of Crux. Welcome to another exclusive video feature on Crux's YouTube page. 2018 is the 50th anniversary of Pope Paul VI, actually Blessed Pope Paul VI, and soon to be Saint Paul VI's landmark encyclical on human sexuality, Humanae Vitae. Now, in the popular imagination, Humanae Vitae is known primarily for reaffirming the church's traditional opposition to artificial birth control. But it is actually a much bigger document than that. It's really a reflection about the meaning and purpose of marriage and of human love and many other things. This 50th anniversary is being observed in a variety of ways around the world. There are books, there are conferences, there are media interviews, there are television specials. But one of the most important and one of the most creative ways in which the anniversary of Humanae Vitae is being celebrated is, and this is no surprise at all, being put together by the National Catholic Bioethics Center here in the States. Because if you know the National Catholic Bioethics Center, you will know that it is a premier point of reference, not just in this country, but all around the world for anything that touches upon bioethics and church teaching. This conference will be taking place from the 11th to the 13th of October at St. Louis University, and it has the title Advancing Humanae Vitae, Best Practices and Next Steps in Catholic Healthcare Development and Education. And we are thrilled today to have two of the architects, the prime movers of this event with us. We are joined by Dr. Marguerite Duane and Dr. John Brahani. Thank you both for being with us today.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having us.
So, John, let's start with you. How are the preparations for this conference going? We're getting closer all the time. I mean, here we are in April. October is not that far away. And are there any recent developments you can share with us?
Yes, John, since we talked in early March, we've had a couple of very important developments. One, we've added a new co-sponsor, SSM Health, which is a multi-institution, multi-state Catholic healthcare system headquartered in St. Louis. It's one of the unique things about this conference is that it is bringing together 7 Catholic healthcare systems now, a major Catholic university, the Archdiocese, and of course us. So that was a very welcome development. In addition, we've got our online registration system up and running. The registration prices are there and are very affordable. And this is also very important for healthcare professionals. We have continuing medical education credit available now for doctors, physician assistants, nurse practitioners, and we're also hoping to get continuing ed for pharmacists as well. So we've got some great systems in place, resources in place. People can read about the conference and make that decision to register.
Perfect. And then, Marguerite, I know you're going to be one of the main draws at this conference. You've got a prime time slot. Can you tell us what you're going to be speaking about?
Sure, I'm delighted to. And I should correct the record. I'm not one of the architects of the conference, but I am privileged to be invited to speak at the conference. I'll actually be speaking on a couple of main topics. First is the effectiveness of natural or fertility awareness-based methods and their effectiveness for couples who are choosing to use these methods to avoid as well as to achieve pregnancy. My colleague, Dr. Mike Manhart, and I, as well as some of our other colleagues from FACS, authored a review of all of the evidence looking at the effectiveness of these natural methods but when used by couples to prevent pregnancy. This was published a few years ago. We're going to be presenting that data. Later on in the conference, I'll also be talking about the education of medical students and residents about natural or fertility awareness-based methods. I am currently an adjunct associate professor at Georgetown University, where we teach the only elective on natural or fertility awareness-based methods of family planning to medical students. This course started because personally, I had never heard the term natural family planning or fertility awareness until I myself was a first-year family medicine resident. So I was quite shocked that I'd never learned about this, how these methods can be used not only for family planning, but also to address a range of women's healthcare issues. So when the opportunity arose for me to teach a course at Georgetown, I took it. We've been teaching it to first-year medical students, and last year we've now launched it as an online elective for medical students across the country to be able to take. So I'll be talking about some of that, as well as the research we're doing reflecting student interest in learning more about these methods.
Well, since I've obviously got a premier expert on this subject with us, I want to ask you a question that's been bugging me for a while. I am old enough that it is very odd for me not to use the phrase natural family planning when talking about all this stuff, because, for most of my adult life, that's the vocabulary we use. But I know that now it is more commonly referred to as fertility awareness, fertility appreciation. Can you explain what that shift in nomenclature is about?
Sure, absolutely. I will say that the term natural family planning and fertility awareness-based methods can be used interchangeably. The difference is the focus. The term natural family planning obviously emphasizes that these are natural methods that do not require the use of hormones or other drugs or devices, and they can be used for family planning. And they're really the only true family planning methods, because couples can use them not only to prevent pregnancy, but also to achieve pregnancy. The term fertility awareness-based methods really highlights that this enables women and men to be aware of their fertility and their reproductive health. And it emphasizes that it can be used for more than just family planning. I certainly encourage young women, even if they're single, to learn how to chart their cycle so they can better monitor and understand their reproductive health. And if they do have any healthcare issues, they can work with medical professionals trained in these methods to address these issues in a more cooperative manner. I will say currently the way we're trained in medical school is if that a woman has anything wrong with her cycle, any issues in the world of reproductive health, we're taught that the panacea for all that ails women is the pill. In reality, the birth control pill doesn't treat many of these issues. It may temporarily suppress symptoms, but it doesn't necessarily get at the root cause. With fertility awareness-based methods, the goal is to identify what is the underlying cause of her illness and to address it in a way that it designs to restore her reproductive health system to its normally functioning state.
And Marguerite, is that the key thing? Do you think that people, especially women and couples, need to know about these fertility awareness methods, or is there more there that needs to get out there?
Yeah, great question. I do think every woman and every couple needs to understand their fertility. Again, our society tends to approach fertility as if it's an off-on switch. We can shut off a woman's fertility for 10 years by putting her on the pill and then take her off and it will turn it back on. Well, and in many cases, some women do experience difficulty conceiving after having used birth control for a significant period of time. Well, our medical society has an answer to that too: artificial reproductive technologies. But I would postulate that these methods, artificial methods and birth control, do not necessarily respect and seek to restore women's normal reproductive health. With fertility awareness-based methods, again, the goal is to really identify and help women monitor and manage their reproductive health. And I think this is important for every woman and man to learn and to understand. Because as I like to say, this isn't a Catholic issue. Nobody's ovaries are Catholic. This should be information that's available to every man and woman, regardless of their faith or their beliefs.
And finally, a question to both of you. I know that Humanae Vitae is a broad Catholic interest. It is a broad cultural interest. But why in particular would physicians, medical professionals, healthcare system administrators, why should they be at this conference, and what can they expect to get out of it?
Well, I'll start. We think, and Marguerite can really speak to the details of it, we think that there is a lot of knowledge, a lot of techniques, a lot of systems that have been brought together over the last 50 years to really respect fertility and to work cooperatively with it. There's a lot of good news out there that really has flown under the radar screen. So, we've got a conference, just to go back to what I started with earlier, that is professionally designed, great timing, support in place with continuing ed that should make it easy for any physician or healthcare professional to show up.
I would say it's absolutely critical for medical professionals to show up to this conference. Research shows that less than 10% of medical professionals, and in particular, obstetrician gynecologists and family physicians, are knowledgeable and familiar with modern fertility awareness-based methods.
Wow.
The organization of which I'm currently executive director, FACTS, which is the Fertility Appreciation Collaborative to Teach the Science, we recently completed a survey of women regarding their experiences discussing their use of fertility awareness-based methods with their medical professionals. 86% of women said a medical professional had never recommended natural or fertility awareness-based methods to them. And we postulate it's because the medical professional community is simply not aware. And like I said, it's not something that I was ever made aware of in medical school, and it's still something that's not routinely taught. I think for many reasons, but I think one of the main issues is many people still confuse it with the rhythm method, which at its time in the 1920s and 30s, which was a major scientific advance. But science has advanced quite significantly over the last 80 to 90 years. Modern fertility awareness-based methods allow couples to track observable signs of fertility on a daily basis to identify when they're fertile and when they're not. And my colleagues in the healthcare community really need to have a better understanding of this so that they can better support their patients who are interested in natural, holistic, and hormone-free options for family planning and women's health.
Well, sounds like it must see again. John, can you tell us if people want to sign up for the conference or find more information on it, where do they go?
Yeah, there's a dedicated website, HV, that's for Humanae Vitae, hvandhealthcare.com. Got all the information about registration, CME, hotels offering discounts in the area, of course, what the conference is about, the speakers, and so on. So hvandhealthcare.com.
All right, well, you heard it here first, hvandhealthcare.com. If you are interested in any of the topics surrounding Humanae Vitae and how it plays out in the practice of contemporary medical care, particularly for women experiencing pregnancies or contemplating pregnancies, this is a conference that you absolutely cannot miss, so make yourself aware of it. John and Marguerite, thank you so much for making the time to share this really exciting event with us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us on, John.
We look forward to seeing everyone in St. Louis.
All right, very good. Under the Arch. Yeah, it's a date. Okay, so this has been an exclusive video feature on the Crux website, Crux YouTube page. You can also find our regular coverage of all things Catholic on the Crux site, which is www.cruxnow.com. That is www.cruxnow.com. Your one-stop shopping destination for the best in smart, wired, and independent Catholic reporting. Keep checking the Crux YouTube page. We will continue to bring you these exclusive video features. I am John Allen, the editor of Crux. Thank you for being with us, and until we see one another again, have a great day.